Yes. And we're live. Welcome to Daily Confidence for Entrepreneurs. My name is Mostafa Husseini. I'm your host for the show. Today is day 6 of the confidence giveaway. It's going to be over tomorrow. It's already been 6 days. Time flies just like that. And we have a couple of more interviews with our amazing experts. Welcome, Susie. How are you?
I am doing great. So happy to be here with you this morning. Yeah, it's been a powerful week, hasn't it? We've been popping up all over the place.
Lots going on. The theme of our giveaway is to share gifts with business owners to help them boost their confidence in different areas of business. Some of our categories are most important one, mindset, which Susie is contributing to. Then we got sales and marketing, business strategy, speaking and visibility, technology and funnels, health and wellness, and there's probably one or two more. So there are all these different areas in business where we have to know the knowledge, have the skills, and become confident in those areas. For example, you may be really good in sales, but you may not have a lot of confidence in finances or in marketing. You may be really good with finances, but maybe your mindset needs a tuning, right? As we all do. It's like an oil change. You have to do it once in a while to get the tune up so you can keep going. Anyway, Susie, how's your day going so far?
It's going terrific. It's off to a great start. Looking forward to being outside. I think it's cooler here in San Diego than it is where you are, Mostafa. You guys are in the heat wave.
It's actually over. It was pretty
great.
hot yesterday. Today is going to be rain and stormy, looks like it. Otherwise, I was looking forward to severe thunderstorm watch. It's what's happening 2 p.m. So we're going to be, if you don't see me.
if he's offline, it's
maybe the flood is going to come and take us down to you guys.
we're downriver from everyone.
Right. We're going to ride it all the way down to you guys and maybe hit the beach once we're down there. So please introduce yourself, give us your name, your business name, and where you're from.
Absolutely. I am Susie Vine. I live down outside of San Diego, California. My company is 3X Less Stress, and I help high achievers realize that they can get themselves off of that self-destructive hamster wheel and find a more empowered approach to resolving stress and transforming their lifestyle with healthier habits.
Very nice. So what's your story? How did you end up doing what you're doing now?
Well, I have, as you were talking about all the different ways in which we grow, in different areas, and then we circle back, I've had a very winding path. I like to think it was a concentric one that led me to where I'm supposed to be. So initially I worked in technical theater. So I've got those creative problem solving skills in my pocket, and I love a great toolkit. And most recently, I was in the senior service industry. So I was working with clients in their 80s and 90s. And that gave me a really close perspective on the chronic issues that we are all going to be facing down the line if we don't start making shifts right now. So it's really the lazy way to make change is to make small changes right now.
Love it. Love it. So what do you do now and who do you serve?
So I work with people, they might still be employees, perhaps middle management, really striving to get ahead and find that success, but they're finding that their own health and happiness have taken a back seat. And certainly in the entrepreneurial realm, when we go all out to build our business, at some point it comes back to our awareness that if we're not healthy, our business isn't ever going to be able to thrive the way that it could. So I work with people who are really pushing themselves to get ahead and recognizing that something's got to shift so they can feel better and feel happier with what they're creating.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Being happy and dealing with stress is extremely important. To me, stress is the mother of all diseases.
Yes.
And all problems.
I agree completely.
All problems comes from stress, like especially when it comes to health. And once we're stressed out, we cannot perform well. We cannot manage a business. And there are so many hats that we have to wear as business owners that if you're stressed out, forget about running a business. So you've got to have the tools and the knowledge and skills to be able to handle and manage stress and work with someone and learn it from someone like Susie who does this professionally. So tell us about your story, your pandemic story. Where were you last year when we all got started in January, February, March? We got the lockdown. What happened to you? What happened to you with business? Was your confidence affected in any shape or form? What's the story on that?
Absolutely. Yeah, it has been quite a year. I changed and really dove into this focus, this field of work about 5 years ago. And en route in California to becoming a holistic health practitioner comes the point at which you can become a licensed massage therapist. And so I started working as a massage therapist while I finished my classwork and continued in that practice. And I know from my own previous experience, when I would get really stressed, the most I would allot myself is an hour for a massage and then get right back into it. That was my stress, relief tactic. And that practice was very easy for me to build until last March. And then suddenly all of that was off the table, literally. So then I had the opportunity to really put all of my attention on the coaching, which was the total reason that I had made that shift in the first place. So it was a blessing for me to have that opportunity to dive in, and it was a real growth experience, because talk about working through that confidence, putting myself out there now in this as of yet unproven. I had built a practice, but not in coaching. It was an adjunct, not the core feature. So I did all kinds of growth. I created a YouTube channel. I launched a podcast. I really started putting myself out there because this message is so important to me, and I know it's going to change lives. So I really had to work through some levels of growth. They say new level, new devil, right? Every time you conquer something, another little hidden gremlin or something pops up that then you get to reckon with. So it's been a big year of growth, but it's really been an exciting ride too.
Love it. I love what you said. The new level, new devil.
I didn't originate it, but it's a keeper.
Can you expand on that? What do you mean by that?
Absolutely. We go through these growing pains and we conquer something. So just as you were saying, now we've got to work on our marketing so people are hearing our message. But then we recognize that maybe our financial habits aren't what they need to be to support the growth that we've brought to our business. So then that's the next thing that we need to tackle. So it can feel really overwhelming that, oh, I conquered something. I should feel great. But now I feel overwhelmed because there's more. There's more. There's always more. And it can feel kind of challenging or threatening, not in that stimulating challenge that we would embrace. And that really comes down to how we approach stress, because people typically, you can kind of boil it down into two camps. They feel that stress is debilitating and they can't get ahead. They can't overcome it. It just keeps coming at them. Or they're the kind of people who recognize that stress can be enhancing and they can feel empowered. They can actually use it to their advantage if they have that kind of healthy relationship. It's not the same thing as running on adrenaline and thriving on, that kind of detrimental stress. So there's a sweet spot that people can find to use it to their advantage.
Love it. Can you expand on how we can use stress to our advantage? Because to me, and I guess to a lot of people, once I'm stressed out, I don't perform well, and I don't like being stressed out. Tell us a little bit more about how we can take advantage of stress, which is your specialty. It's like, quite frankly, the very first person that I heard saying we can take advantage of stress, I'm like, I like the sound of that.
If it's going to be here, we might as well put it to work for us.
Exactly.
Well, so that flow state that we hear about, that we want to drop into when we're working and time just falls away and we're super productive, that flow state, or, elite athletes hit their peak performance, doesn't come from zero stress. There's a little bit of stress that puts us in that zone. The trick is to be in that sweet spot. Like I was saying, when we're really triggered by stress and our thoughts are scattered, our focus is is, we're looking at the small details. We've lost our vision of the total picture.
Yeah.
That's when it's counterproductive and it's working against us. But if we can, and it takes practice, we have to kind of build this muscle of perspective. And that's why meditation and mindfulness are so powerful, because we realize we are not our thoughts. And so that stress is starting to wind up. We can get curious and say, what's got me triggered right now? What am I responding to? What's the most important thing? And Mostafa, you are the king of this, getting clear on priorities. What's the one thing that's going to move me ahead? What's the one thing I can do in this moment to take a positive action? When we can start asking ourselves questions, we pull ourselves out of that stress response, and we have so much more ability to see opportunities and solutions. So it becomes that practice of pulling ourselves out of that reactive state, that sympathetic or fight or flight response, and we can start having much more control over the outcome.
Absolutely. Can you tell us more about the stress that usually entrepreneurs create by having too many things on their plate?
Yes. And I can talk all day long about the right practices and techniques, and I still catch myself doing these things myself. So, and
Right.
you recommended to me a terrific book called Essentialism by Greg McKeown. And there's The One Thing, there's a number of books that will really illustrate how important it is to have one primary focus. Because when you put all your energy into one thing, then you can really make change happen. But when you're trying to juggle everything at the same time, you're trying to keep all the balls in the air, that energy is so diffused and scattered, you're not making significant headway in any one area.
Yeah.
And that's why then you're stuck and you're feeling burned out, because you're working at top speed. You're doing absolutely as much as you can, but you're not seeing the results that you could be if you let some things fall away and pursue that singular focus. So I have to thank you for pointing me towards essentialism. It's really had a big impact in the way that I operate.
I appreciate that. And I thank you for bringing in Ted, showing us how to take advantage of stress and how to manage it, because it's a big deal. And with being locked down almost for over a year, there is a massive mental health problem out there in the world, and it's across the globe, not just to me and you or just a bunch of people that we know. But I think it's going to cost governments a lot of money, and it is costing companies a lot of money. And once people are not in a good mental state, we would all be in trouble. Companies are losing money, owners, employees, everybody. And if we don't know how to manage our stress, then it won't be pretty. Yeah.
Exactly. Like you said, it's really the king of disease. So if we can take control of this here, we can have such a huge impact on how we can stay healthy for the long term.
Absolutely. So, what else? Tell us about your gift and how your gift helps business owners boost their confidence.
Yes. So as I was saying, if we recognize that we can change our perspective of stress, then we have so much more power in the situation. So my gift is 5 secrets to master stress and shine in the spotlight, because public speaking is one of the most common fears. And that usually comes from, probably something in our past, in our childhood or younger experience, that then when it's our turn to grab the mic, to speak up for ourselves, even to, kind of take the stage in a Zoom meeting, some people are reluctant to be that bold. If we recognize we can change our perspective, if we recognize that it's an old experience that is shaping the way we feel right now, we can use some of these tricks, these secrets, to change the way we perform right now. And we need to be able to step up, to step forward, and to present the work that we're doing so we can change the lives that we are meant to impact through our work. So it's so important that if stress is holding you back, if you feel like, you're not the right voice or the right image to bring your work forward, it's so important to recognize that you're the passion, you're the driving force, and you have this energy you can bring to it. So we take a look. I have a video and a short ebook with these 5 secrets to look at how we perceive stress, how we can support more happiness in our lives, because happier people are more successful. It's actually proven in research in the field of positive psychology, which I think is going to transform the way that we do business. So it's not selfish to put happiness first. It's actually beneficial for yourself and everyone around you. So some of those are just a couple of the tips that are inside that resource.
Love it. Like happiness is absolutely essential. And think about this. If you run a business happily, or if you run a business sadly, which state would you rather be in? And
Exactly.
that happiness piece affects longevity, and it affects health, a lot of stuff. I just heard about a little place, I don't know where it is, maybe in Japan, where people live well over 100 years. And then they did the research. Do you know where that is? And they
I've
did the
heard about
research.
some of these zones. Yeah.
Yeah, they did the research, and it turns out that most of these people are happy. They're just happy about, and they're like smoking, doing all sorts of weird things, but they're happy, and they live a long time. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should work on being more happy. So, the confidence giveaway is happening this week. It is going to end tomorrow night, and we've got 20 amazing experts, including Susie Vine, and they are generously sharing gifts with you to help you boost your confidence in different areas of business. And to me, number one step in confidence is mindset. So we've got a mindset category where you could just I put a link here in the comments, and it is in the descriptions of the show. Click there, opt in, start downloading the gifts. And here's the other piece. We got 20 gifts, and I'm really proud of who we gathered here this time as contributors. And you may not need a gift right now. Maybe later down the road, you're going to have to need access to this expert or to the resource that they're presenting. So get in there, opt in, and get access to it anyway. It's better have it and not use it than being, a week or two or a month or two later, having the need to be like, oh my God, dang it. I had access to this expert, but I didn't get it. Anyway. So, can you share some tips with people who are watching or listening who may be stressed out? What could they do today? Is there a couple of things that we could do today to just relax, be in a calmer state, and manage our stress?
Well, there's a lot that I could choose from, but being that it's Saturday, here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest, no matter how much is on your to-do list for the weekend, because you finally made it to the weekend and it's your own time, and put 15, 20 minutes of play, of completely unstructured time, and just do something that lights you up. And I've talked with busy moms who say, oh my gosh, I finally get 5 minutes to myself. I don't even want to think of what I could be doing right now. I just want to veg, right? But do something that brings you a little curiosity, awe, or wonder. You could even start making a list of things that make you happy, so that next time you have just 5 minutes that's all on your own, you can do exactly what you want. You can pick something from that list. So I love having that things that make me happy list. I actually keep it right here next to my computer. So when I have a little break after meetings, when I finish up early, I get to do something that lights me up. It feels self-indulgent, but when you give yourself that space, you're going to come back with more focus, more creative problem solving skills when you're back at work, turning out, trying to be productive. So it pays off. It's not indulgent. So make some time to play this weekend. That'll be really powerful.
Fantastic. Yeah, giving ourselves permission to play and enjoy our time is extremely important. And this year, and you were there when I think I had the realization, like throughout the year during the pandemic, I did not give myself permission to play and take care of myself. And I usually do. And then all of a sudden we had a conversation with Susie and a couple other people in our mastermind. And I had this big aha moment where I was like, oh my God, I haven't taken care of myself. For like a whole year and a half. I was like, oh, I got to take my family here. I got to take my kids here and there when we are always together. then I realized that I actually need to spend time with myself
Mhm.
and play. And now, what to your point, we also need to play with our family and our kids and the rest of it. But it's very important. And as entrepreneurs, we tend to take it really hard on ourselves. Like, we feel like we're going to quit a 40-hour job and then we enter into an 80-hour a week job. And yeah, you know how
Exactly,
that works.
exactly. And you know, we can get into that afternoon grind. Our focus is starting to fail. We're struggling with what we're doing. We feel like we've just got to push forward and try to get something done. And if you take 5 minutes away, walk around, get some fresh air, get barefoot outside, get grounded for a minute, you'll come back with so much more focus. And we get stuck in this hamster wheel, like I said, where you feel like you just have to keep pushing through. When we ease up, and you've mentioned this too in some of our meetings, when you ease up, it's amazing what you can make space for, and then full speed ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Susie, thank you very much for this conversation, and thank you for your amazing contribution to the giveaway, making a difference out there. Is there anything that you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Oh gosh, there is so much incredible value inside this giveaway. Mostafa, you've brought together the most brilliant people. And I was just listening to you, encouraging people to check it out and have that growth mindset. Well, I don't need this right now, but think about what you're going to need in the months ahead. Because if you don't grab it now while it's free, you might be paying for it later, because these are things that people have just really, really dug deep and shared some brilliant things. So don't miss this opportunity. It's not open for much longer.
Absolutely. Yep. Tomorrow night it's going to finish. So if you're watching or listening, now would be a good time to click on the link and go claim your gifts. Susie, thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And hopefully you will have some relaxed, happy playtime. And then I'm sure I'll see more of you in the near future.
Yes, I will see you online. Take good care, Mostafa. Stay
Thank
safe in
you.
that storm.
Likewise. Have a good one. Bye-bye. All right. My next guest is Robin Keene. Welcome, Robin.
Hi, Mostafa. Thank you. Nice to be here.
Good to see you. How's your Saturday going so far?
Great. I just got home from a week on the Oregon coast. So, you know, I have my screen behind me because I'm unpacking.
Oh, nice. Nice. Were you on vacation?
It was a working trip. I had clients that joined me from my mastermind. So we had people flying in, and yeah, we did some business and enjoyed some beautiful walks on the beach. It was sunny. It was amazing.
Love it. All right. So introduce yourself. Tell us about your name, your business name, and where you're from.
Yeah. So my business name is Quitting Culture. I am up here on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington State. So way up, if I jump on the trampoline, I can see Victoria right there.
Very nice. Is that Victoria, BC?
Yeah, Victoria, BC. Yeah.
So we could just jump on a boat and just sail across and come see you.
Yeah. It's that close. Yeah, we go to, you know, when the kids are growing up, lots of field trips over to Victoria, British Columbia.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful area.
Mm-hmm.
It is truly beautiful. Oh yeah, no, I was there probably a couple of years ago, and I was across this channel where they're like, we're on the Canadian side, and like 100 feet on the other side was the U.S. We just had to cross the border and to get probably come see you guys.
Yeah, it's very, very close. So I kind of feel Canadian. I'm so close.
All right. I guess we're cross-border people.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Good. So, what's your story? How did you get into? Well, let's go into what do you do first, and who do you serve?
Sure. So I work with the concept of quitting with children and adults. I had a music and dance studio and taught piano I'm still teaching 20 plus 25 years. And, you know, one of the things I noticed is that a lot of times kids want to quit, and that's very normal, right? We adults want to quit too. We do something, we love it, then we don't like it, then we're okay, then we love it and hate it. StreamYard's always backwards to me. I point with things and I'm suddenly off camera. Sorry about that. But that's just a normal course of events. But what happens is we think something is wrong, and so then we want to quit, right? We quit in a valley. So what became really clear for me is that parents need to understand why that happens and help their kids keep going when they want to quit, when, you know, when it's a good activity and it's safe and all that stuff, everything being normal, then let's keep going, because when we achieve goals, we grow in confidence. And it's the same thing for children as it is for adults. So I work with parents, I work with coaches who own or people that own music, dance, gymnastics, soccer, whatever businesses. And then I work with entrepreneurs that are still struggling with quitting, because that's kind of the way they grew up, right? So I help people learn how to quit well, that causes the least amount of damage. And then I do strategic accountability coaching, because accountability is where we get motivated when we achieve goals.
So to clarify, you help them quit something that is destructive?
Yeah. So for a lot of grown-ups, not children, but for a lot of adults, we overcommit. We just overcommit to all kinds of things, but then we slip away. We don't end well because we don't know how to, which leaves kind of a path of destruction for us. So it could be we need to quit something, like maybe we need to get off of a committee we agreed to be on because it's just doesn't fit into our lives anymore. But instead of like making a decision and intentionally quitting, we slip away. And when we slip away, we stop showing up. We do damage not only to our own self because we're out of integrity, but we have these, Virginia Miskis called them unspoken brokens, right? And they do a ton of damage. So I teach people how to identify what should be quit and then how to do that well so that there is no damage. So it's very clean, right?
Good.
Yeah.
So what is your, and that's very important, to quit the stuff that is not productive. And a lot of times I think I try to quit a bad habit and it just doesn't happen. Like I probably try to focus on it for a week or two, and next thing I know, I'm doing it again.
Yeah.
And I guess there is a method. I'm sure you got a method on how to take care of that.
Yeah.
So, what is your pandemic story? Where were you last year when this whole madness started? What happened? Did it affect your business? Did it affect your confidence? What's the story there?
It did affect my business because some people know this. I don't say this all the time, but I was working with the U.S. Soccer Federation to make my program, Raising Quit-Proof Kids. We were in negotiations about having that be their national program last year for parents. And yeah, and then nobody played soccer, right? So that whole thing just went. And I was also working with a company in St. Louis with a gentleman who's opening 100 gyms for kids. And I was flying back and working with his coaches. We were going to make it the parenting program with his 100 studios. And yeah, that didn't happen either. So yeah, I was kind of thrown for a loop. I'm like, well, those two big things just disappeared for me. So I got really involved in, I've been running a mastermind for 6 years, and I did some pop-up masterminds. I met a bunch of people. I put together a new mastermind. I came at parenting from a different approach, parenting archetype styles, helping parents understand why they get the results they get with their kids based on their archetype or personality type. So I just kind of redesigned what I was already doing, but I had to go a different direction. Yeah.
Interesting. And how was it for you? Tell us about how you managed all that. What was your next step? How did you deal with your confidence, like on mindset?
Yeah, you know what? I know that I always land on my feet. I know that I'm always cared for and taken care of. So it didn't really mess with my confidence. I kind of went, wow, where can I show up differently? How can I show up differently? How can I support people that are struggling? I put together a big Facebook group around supporting people that were struggling with the pandemic and were struggling with isolation. So I just kind of jumped into, normal action for me, created new communities. And, but, so I felt like I was stayed in a good space, but a lot of my clients didn't. So I just committed to staying in a good, solid, grounded place and didn't let too much of the outside impact me so that I could be stable even when other people weren't. That's kind of the approach I took last year.
Very nice. And I'm guessing you've developed that attitude over the years. You probably were not born with that. Right.
Yeah. Well, I've always been very optimistic and positive, and I've always known I'll land on my feet no matter what. And so I just made sure that I was in that space every morning when I woke up. I refused to be pulled into all of the craziness, and it needed to be that way because I have clients that struggled last year. I work with a lot of music studio owners. Well, guess what? That nothing was normal last year for them, right? They all had to pivot to online. Some people lost their businesses. So they needed some place where they could feel like I was unshakable. And I think, yeah, that's developed over years.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Yeah.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. So tell us about your gift, what it is, and how it helps business owners boost their confidence.
Yeah. Oh, well, I love my gift. A lot of people have used it. It was written initially for parents and kids, but it really works for anybody. And I've heard from a lot of adults that it really helped them. It's the 5-day digital detox. And so, Mostafa, what I've noticed, and even this week when I was on my getaway to the Oregon coast, how often are we distracted by our phone? How many times do people just do this? They just touch it in the middle of a conversation, writing emails, right? It's like this perfect, weird, obsessive distraction that just a touch, suddenly you're in another place and you're not doing your work and you're not in a conversation. You've taken yourself out of the game. So I wrote it a couple of years ago for parents, but it works for anybody. It's just one simple step a day to start getting a grip on the reality of how much you're using your phone or whatever device you have and how to get a hold on that so it's not so distracting. And I think it actually does make you more confident when you're doing the things you said you were going to do and not letting this thing run the show.
Oh my God. So on Sundays, I get a report on my phone about how many hours I spend on the phone.
Yeah.
The number is embarrassing.
I know.
And so I've made a conscious decision to reduce my phone time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's we are addicted, and then they spend billions and billions of dollars to make it addictive.
Yeah.
It is there by design.
Yeah.
And one thing that I am worried about with my kids is having them grow up with the phone and app mentality. And I'm not against it, but I'm against too much of it. And it's also affecting, in my world, the parent-kid relationship.
100%.
Where the parents and kids are spending too much time on the phone and they're ignoring each other at different times. That is affecting their relationships.
100%.
It's not good.
No, and there have been studies in the detox PDF. There have been studies done about babies and what happens to babies when they are on the screen all the time, right? And so there is not the same connection with their parents. That there's not the same bonding. There's not the same connection. There's not the same eye contact. Like, it has a huge impact. And we all know this, but it's such a convenience, right? Your kid is upset or you want to do something else, so you just hand them the phone, hand them the iPad. I have a 6-year-old grandson. I know he's addicted. He and I've talked about it because if I try and take it away, he will have an epic meltdown. So we have limits on it. And I always set a timer so he knows you got it for 10 more minutes, then it's mine, then it goes away. But it's easier just to hand our kids a phone. It is. It's easier to just keep them quiet by handing them a device, but it certainly does not help parent-child bonding, communication. And what we're setting up is what frightens me is what happens when our kids get to be teenagers and they don't have a relationship with us, right?
Or they don't have a relationship with anybody.
Right, with anybody. Oh, yes. There's a big story. I won't tell you all of it, but basically Ava, my daughter, went to a brand new high school in Seattle a few years ago. Long story. And she would ride the bus, and there were 22 kids in our neighborhood. She did not meet one of them because she said everybody on the bus was doing this. Nobody looked at her. Nobody spoke to her over 5 months. And I was like, wow,
it's going to be a problem in the future for our teenagers. Yeah. Like, I think they're going to have massive problems with the relationships with themselves, and oh God. Yeah. I think we should start getting into that business now. Yeah. I mean, you are in that business already, but it's gonna be yeah. All right. What else? Can you share a couple of tips?
Mhm.
And I'm sure the people that are watching this we all need these tips on how to manage our
Yeah.
social media time. Can you
Yeah.
give us a couple of tips on how to get better at it?
Yeah, and I'm actually working on it myself this weekend because being in a room with a bunch of people over the space of a week, right? And people staying with me at the condo and just watching, just observing. And I was not judging, and they knew I was not judging. We had several conversations about it, but one of the things I noticed is that everybody has notifications on, right? And so if you could just eliminate some of the notifications, you can go in and pick which things notify you. Like turn off anything that's not essential. If you actually want to work, if you actually want to be in a conversation with somebody, just turn off the non-essential notifications. And then rather than having your phone up where you can be, touching the screen, turn your phone over and set it down away from you so that you have to lean forward to go get it, right? Like then it's obvious to everybody in the room, oh, she's grabbing her phone, as opposed to this little thing that you just do on the side, which seems like not a big deal, but now you have to lean forward. You're kind of signaling everybody, I'm grabbing my phone. The other thing, Mostafa, that's super funny that we noticed is if one person does this in a
Everyone
room,
else does it.
everybody grabs their phone. So
Yeah.
if you put your phone away from you, it's obvious you're breaking communication to go do something else. It's not as insidious, right? You're not so stealth mode, like you think nobody's noticing, but turn off the notifications. That's huge.
Huge.
Yeah. And then put your phone out of reach when you're with people and I know we're getting back to being with people. And I think it's essential that we don't have that thing right there that we're touching constantly.
Yeah. Sometimes over the weekends, that's really important. I've done it where I turned off the notifications, or
Mhm.
when I install them first, it says, would you like this app to send you notification? I was like, hell no. All right. Um,
Exactly. That's a really great tip. And I've done that when I install apps. I don't allow it to follow my location, and I don't allow it to send me notifications. And I don't ever turn those back on. I just know, and that's why, I make some people frustrated because they're like, I sent you something on Voxer. I'm like, okay,
yeah,
right?
I'm not
I didn't
constantly
see
checking it.
that. But it gives me a lot more peace to not be um, seeing those. And actually, this weekend, I think I'm going to shut off a bunch of other notifications, even like Gmail, because I know I'm going to go look at it on my computer. I don't need to be told all day long that these non-essential emails are coming in.
Oh my God, that's a good one. I'm going to turn off Gmail because
Yeah, because
I
you're going to go look at your computer
constantly get
anyway.
bogged down. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
constantly.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Um, Robin, this has been an interesting conversation, and I really appreciate you and your generous contribution to the giveaway. Gang, if you'd like to learn how to quit some bad habit,
Hmm.
opt in and get access to Robin's gift and to many other amazing gifts that we got lined up that are available until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
I just, I'm doing something for myself this weekend. I'm calling it Purge for Peace. That's my own thing. That's what I'm doing. And I think, how I'm realizing how unsettling it is to actually have constant things coming in and disturbing me. And I want to be more peaceful. And I think this thing, as much as I appreciate it, I hate it on some level. It's just disturbing. So my goal, and I hope everybody, can see that it is disturbing to peace of mind. And so why would we allow this thing to be have so much control of our lives? So I just want to encourage anybody who's considering it to think that perhaps, getting a handle on it, having it be less present, it might be a good thing for you, even if it's just on the weekends. But certainly I want to engage with people that are in the room with me. These people, they're not in the room. They actually don't care.
So, all right, here's an objection. And,
Okay.
and I know over the past year, our phone time has increased massively because we've
Mhm.
just been at home. So
Mhm.
what do people do instead?
Oh, wow. Well, Where are my books? I just put them on my bookshelf. Read a book. You mean
Okay.
like what do you do with your time? Oh,
Yeah. It's like, all right. I'm like, it's like, well, I'm sitting at home. I've got nothing to do, so I just check my phone and different apps. And if I put that away, I have to fill the void there, right? What do I need to do instead?
Yeah. So what I enjoy doing is I will take a walk. I will work out. I will read a book. I will write in my journal. I will listen to a meditation. I will listen to something. And I know it might be on my phone. It might be on my computer, but it's not. I'm listening and I'm learning. Like I spend a part of every morning making sure that I'm learning something new. I mean, it might be that I'm listening to something on YouTube, but I'm not checking notifications. I'm engaged in something that's hopefully expanding my mind, helping me be more aware, helping me be more intentional. But this mindless scrolling thing, or playing games,
Not very effective.
that's not doing much for me.
Yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
time killer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Like reading, walking, spending time, meditation, spending time talking with people around you. I like calling my people,
Yeah.
like calling family and friends and having a conversation. Really good stuff. All right. This was really good. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for your contribution. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and good luck with the phone stuff that you were doing, or the other things that you were doing this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm actually going to be more conscious of this as well. I really enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Me too, Mostafa. Good to see you. Have a great weekend.
Right, you too.
Take care. Bye.
You too. All right, gang. Thank you for joining us. This was the last live show of the giveaway. The giveaway is finishing tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Mountain Time. So the links are in the comments of the show and in the description of the show. Go there, grab the gifts. We really got some good stuff going on. And if you have any questions or any issues, let us know, and we'll go from there. Thank you for joining me. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys later. Bye now.